So now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Mark Murray, Center for Hospice Care and Hospice Foundation's President and CEO. Earlier this year, Mark celebrated 28 years of service here with us. And Mark's been our President and CEO since 1997. He's a member of the National Hospice Executive Roundtable. It's a national group of nonprofit hospice CEOs who develop and promote best practices in our line of work. And he's served in many other capacities. And this is the third introduction I've done of Mark in I think the past 3 weeks. So I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. For those of you who don't know Mark, he was in Indianapolis area and South Bend television and radio for many years. And as a radio and TV guy, I think he kind of, in his heyday in Indianapolis, and you can chat with him about this later, if you happen to tune in to NBC's Late Night with David Letterman on, I gotta get the date right, August 24th, 1983, you would have tuned in and seen Mark join David Letterman on the air. In fact, he probably had more time on the air than Howard Stern did on his first appearance. So I'll let Mark tell you about that later. So, but quite frankly, we would not be here without Mark's leadership. He has been involved in our organization and really in the metamorphosis we've experienced as a total volunteer organization to one that now serves 400 people a day. And so back to the reference to his TV days, if I can do justice to Will Ferrell and Ron Burgundy, Mark's an unassuming guy, but he's really kind of a big deal. And so he is the real deal. Please allow me to introduce to you today, and join me in welcoming Mr. Mark Murray.
Gee, thanks, Chris. Okay, I was on David Letterman, but I was on with my cat. And we were on Stupid Pet Tricks. And we were on longer than any of the other tricks because my cat didn't do anything. Which is why it was so funny. So. Anyway, good afternoon. I'm so glad you're here, and it's my great privilege to welcome you to the groundbreaking of the Ernestine M. Raclin House. We are delighted to see all of you here this afternoon. A little bit about the Center for Hospice Care. We started caring for patients over 37 years ago, and during our first year of operation, we cared for 27 patients the entire year. So we fast forward to the last 4 years, where each of those years we've cared for over 2,000 patients and their families. So when it comes to numbers of patients served, Center for Hospice Care now ranks in the top 3% of all hospice programs in the United States. And to date, since the beginning, we've cared for over 35,500 patients, and 25% of those have been in just the last 4 years alone. Yes, Center for Hospice Care has been growing. And it's important for me to mention this because this future magnificent hospice inpatient unit, the Ernestine M. Raclin Hospice House, will continue to symbolize this remarkable growth. Here in Mishawaka, along the shores of the St. Joseph River, it will stand proudly as a testament to the growing importance of and the rapidly expanding acceptance for the loving care that Center for Hospice Care provides to this community. Now, the Ernestine M. Raclin House is the centerpiece of our current 5-year comprehensive capital campaign called Cornerstones for Living, the Crossroads Campaign. The strategic focus of the Crossroads Campaign is to put into place today the infrastructure needed to meet the demands and needs of this community tomorrow and in the future. And that demand will be coming from the baby boom generation, and it will be significant. And it becomes more significant every day. Today, 10,000 baby boomers turn 65. Tomorrow, another 10,000 will turn 65, and the next day, and the next day, and the next. According to the U.S. Census Bureau's national population projections, 1 in every 5 U.S. residents will be retired or retirement age by 2030. And that's just a mere 12 years from now. And as these 76 million Americans age and reach their actuarial maturity in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond, the demand for hospice care services will increase dramatically, which is why we're doing this campaign today. You know, our first hospice inpatient unit, by the way, there's still only 7 inpatient units in the state of Indiana, and 2 of them belong to Center for Hospice Care. But our first one opened in Roseland in 1996. The building itself was constructed in 1984 as business offices for a long-distance telephone company. It was never really intended to be a hospice inpatient unit, but we did our best during a difficult makeover to turn it into a home-like 7-bed hospice inpatient unit that has served over 5,700 patients over the past 22 years and served them very well. But the time has come now to meet the needs of tomorrow and at the same time create the physical environment that we had always hoped for and needed and felt like this community deserved. So it's time to expand and update our local inpatient unit for the benefit of our patients and families, our community, and all of our collective futures. The Ernestine M. Raclin House will be a state-of-the-art 12-bed inpatient facility with 12 private patient rooms, all facing the beautiful St. Joseph River, and each room will have the ability to take a hospital bed outside onto a patio overlooking the water. It will include a spiritual reflection room, two family rooms for visitors, a kitchenette for visitors, a sunroom for visitors, a special playroom for visiting children, and a special area for visiting teenagers, where they'll be texting all the time. We'll have, of course, staff offices, meeting rooms, a kitchen, and clinical amenities, functional areas like linen, laundry, secured medications, everything that you would come to expect. And this is the exciting part for all of us that have worked at our current unit over the years, is that the new Ernestine M. Raclin House will be just over 17,000 square feet, which is about triple what we have now in Roseland. And that's something that we're really very, very excited about. We have been a little close to each other since 1996. You know, when somebody asks me, how did this hospice program get to where it is today? I say, well, you had to get started 40 years ago. In fact, this past Friday, I just looked this up today and was amazed, was the 40th anniversary of when a group of local dedicated volunteers on a hospice steering committee in South Bend sent the Articles of Incorporation to the Indiana Secretary of State for an entity to be called Hospice of St. Joseph County, Inc. That was 40 years ago this past Friday. And I bring that up because I want everyone to know that Ernie Raclin has been supportive and generous to this agency since the very beginning. Like so very many local nonprofit organizations, we are sincerely privileged to live in the same community as Ernie Raclin. We are honored to experience her vision and know of her unwavering kindnesses. And when it comes to our current Crossroads campaign, Ernie Racklin's transformational gift toward this new hospice inpatient unit reaffirms our collective belief in the essential dignity of each person. It's a concept, it's a vision, and it's a mission that's been around now locally for almost 4 decades. Unified by this mission, the Ernestine M. Raclin House will be a physical endorsement of our pledge to serve our local patients and families by providing for their comfort and doing so with respect and with compassion. Thank you so much, Ernie Raclin. And my thanks to each of you for joining us for this very special afternoon.